In this video, we're going to talk about why is it so hard for some people to get a rental apartment. Let's talk about it. It used to be a time when all you needed to get an apartment was the money. I was a landlord for over 30 some years. And when I first started out, the people can have the moving truck out front and the money in hand. If they had those two things going for them, they got the apartment. Times have changed big time. Nowadays, to get an apartment, you got to do a credit check, background check, criminal check in some cases, and that can add up. The money it costs you to do those checks because the landlord isn't paying for it, the prospective tenant is. So let's say if it costs $100 for each check, that could be costly if you don't get that apartment. So that's one thing that's hindering people from getting an apartment. And the next thing is income. Nowadays, landlords want 2 months security deposit and 1 month's rent. And they want you to make at least 3 times what it costs for you to rent a place. This way they make sure that you can afford it. And what is some of the average rents going for? I mean, just for like a 1 bedroom, I think that's like $1,000 these days. And if you get anything more than that in an apartment, you could be talking all the way up to $2,400. And if you get in a house, it can be even more. What are some of the things that they require for you to be a prospective tenant? Well, one, they don't want you to have any past evictions on your record because one is one too many. They want to verify your income. And in some cases, like what I was doing in the end, I would literally go out to see the tenant's apartment. If you say you live in XYZ, well, I want to go out unexpectedly and I want to verify your residence. And I want to see some utilities in your name at that address. In some instances, when people say, well, I work for myself, I need to see proof of that. In most instances, I probably wouldn't do it because, you can't track cash. So if a person I had one guy tell me that he was a barber and he got paid cash. So I told him, okay, give me the address of where you work at, and then I unexpectedly drop in and see how you're doing. And so he had to fess up. He said, I'm going to be honest with you, Kay. I don't have a job right now. And, my girlfriend told me he really going to stop by and check the barber shop. And if you ain't in there, well, okay. So those are some of the things that hinder people from getting apartments. And, they want to make sure that you're going to be a good tenant, that you don't move other people in. They want to meet everybody that's going to live there. They want to check each individual to make sure either they're working or going to school. They want to see proof these days. It used to be a time where all you did was talk to the person that's trying to get the place, but not anymore. Now they want to meet each individual person. And let's say that person is over 21 years of age. Well, he might have to do his own credit check and criminal background check in some instances. So, these are the things that landlords are doing these days to keep from losing their shirt. Remember COVID? When people stopped paying and you had people that was working and could have paid and didn't pay. And so they lived rent free for like a year or two. But it bit them in the rear end once that was lifted because the new landlord did not want to rent to those type of people because if you burnt them, chances are you'll burn me. I had this one tenant years ago, and she had like, I think 4 evictions on her record, and she was in really bad situation. And I knew better, and I went in with my heart, and I got burned. You know, and a buddy of mine told me, he said, "Hey, if she's got 4 evictions, you're going to be fired." And boy, was he right. Then, people want to make sure when they rent out that you don't have any pets that's not allowed on that property. They want to, kind of look at your background, because people will uh, let other people move in. And, now you got 2 families living in the place. And, and it's just so expensive when things don't work out, because now you're going to lose money putting them out. You got court costs, attorney fees, and then, you got to wait until you finally get them out. And then, that's costing you money. And then you got to go in, you got to redecorate the place, and that costs a lot of money. And then you got to shop around for a new tenant, and then you got to screen people. You got to make sure you're not getting that 10% that's a scam artists. They move in, they pay that 1 month's rent, and you never get anything else. I had that happen to me. I had one lady come in. She had lost a job, but she fixed up all the documents where it looked like she was still working, and found out she wasn't working, and she paid. No, 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 no. Let me clear that up. She didn't pay anything. She was supposed to, come back with the money, and I, trusted her and never got a dime. So these are all the reasons why it's just getting so hard for people to get apartments these days. Landlords have been burnt. And don't get me wrong, there's a lot of bad landlords too. But, we're speaking on the point of why it's hard to get an apartment. And these are some of the reasons why. It's because it can be very expensive when you put somebody out, because now it's going to take time to get them out. And if the people know the way the system works, it can take forever. In some cases, it could take a year or two. And so what landlords are trying to do now is to minimize that problem. They want to make sure that they get somebody that's got a lot to lose, just like them. So if you get a stand-up person, chances are they'll just move out. Because they don't want an eviction on their record. Because how you going to get something else unless you just going to live in a really bad area where the people really don't care? But other than that, chances are they'll just say, hey, well, I'm going to move out on the 30th or the 1st or what have you. So this way they don't mess their record up or their credit, But again, you got a lot of tenants that don't care about credit and records. And they only think about it when they can't find some other place to live. So this is the reason why in some instances it's just getting difficult for people to get another apartment. It's getting really expensive to get an apartment. And in most instances, like I said in my other videos, it's getting to the point where there's going to be multi-generation people living together. You're going to have the kids, the parents, and the grandparents just to keep a roof over their head. So that's where we're headed, sad to say, but what do you do? So again, this is Kate, back at it with a new video. Take care, guys and gals.